That's right. It is the morning show right here on Facebook Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, and of course YouTube Live. Anywhere else you find us, we appreciate you. Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and much, much more. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. Glad to have you with us on today's show. We got lots of really cool, interesting news. Actually, some interesting topics to talk about. We got some really cool celebrity guests, by the way, to talk about around the corner. I'll give you a hint. Sesame Street. And that's all I'm going to give you right now, okay? Not one of the other, monster guys or girls or ladies, but this is a special lady who I'm not going to, even try to pretend not to be excited, because I'm super excited, because this woman, let's just put it this way, I loved her on Sesame Street. She's always the voice of reason on. I'm going to give you guys a moment just to think of who that is. But first of all, we got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
So Sesame Street, obviously, I don't know if you grew up on it, but I grew up on it left, right, and center. That was back in the day when, we had it in L.A. on Channel 28. I always remember that. KCET, right? PBS, right? Mm-hmm. And, that's different in everybody's, backyard. But anybody that I know as of late knows Sesame Street and all the characters. Which is your favorite character, Jesse?
Snuffleupagus, hands down. He's cool.
All right. And I've done this before. I've talked to Sesame Street people, but I've never talked to anybody from Sesame Street. And so it's really cool. And she has a book, and it's actually with National Geographic as well. So she's teamed up with them. I'm talking about none other than Sonia Manzano, who's going to be with us just around the corner. She's going to I'm so happy about this. Sesame Street's Maria. Yeah, that's right. Maria whirled together. She put this book together, and rightly so, at a really good time, by the way. So I'm excited about this. I know you'll be excited about this as well. So she's coming up next here on the morning show. Super excited. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right. Again, I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. If this is your very first time, this is our commercial break until we go live back on the air. ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM is where it's at. They're playing news every top of the hour, on the hour. Download the app. It's free, KMET, 1490 AM. We have a lot of other great programmers as well. I'd like to think we're the only one, but obviously we got so many great programmers, and I sometimes listen to some of the other programmers, and I think you should too. Especially getting out of debt. Boy, Dave Ramsey's stuff is really kind of important right now, especially when I read an article about our economy has been taking a nosedive for quite some time. People trying to figure out how to pay for their housing, credit crunch, financial district, everything is going, which I say, stop talking politics and get to the fixing it before. Don't wait till somebody's in office. Just do the right thing right here, right now. Although I did see something about maybe going back to $1,200, which I told you a couple months ago. If President Trump did that, I'd be like, you know what? Good job doing the right thing. But I also said, if it's a political move, I don't really care. Just do the right thing. Bring back the $1,200. Don't do the dumb $300, which nobody can live on. Anyway.
10 seconds.
All right. Thank you. And let us know where you're tuning in from, by the way.
2 seconds.
That's right. It is the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. We appreciate each and every one of you for spending time with us here on the morning show. We got lots to talk about. There is so much. I'm so excited to talk about. We've got a big roster. So first of all, I'm going to say hello to our very own Jesse Sanchez over there in the studio. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
So lots of really good news. Let's start off with the really good news, something to look forward to. PlayStation, what's going on over there?
Yeah, the PlayStation released the date and price that the PlayStation 5 is coming out. So the standard PlayStation 5 system is going to run you around $500, and the digital one will roughly around $400. What was funny, though, is that I believe the pre-order sold out in less than 5 minutes. And I went to the GameStop website, and it literally says waiting. Like, it wouldn't even load because it was so, like, bogged down from traffic.
Well, and you know, Jesse, I completely understand. Like I said, you know, the last bit of consoles were completely sold out when I went to, I think it was... what was it, Walmart or Target? I don't remember. And there were like no game consoles. And I'm like, well, rightly so. I mean, I'd be playing game consoles. But I'm not going to lie, Jesse. If I have more time this coming season, I might just go up and pick one, you know, or maybe give it as a gift. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that. But look, however you're tuning in, we appreciate you. We got a really big lineup of guests coming up around the corner. A little bit later on, we're going to be joined by Sarah South, who's the VP of Laboratory Sciences at Ancestry DNA. And we're going to be talking about how Ancestry Health empowers moms to take care of family health with a new consumer genetics technology, gene splicing. We're probably not talking about that, but it's amazing the things that they've been able, which I venture to say at some point, we'll have every single portion of that gene apportioned out. And I don't know if you guys ever, there was a movie called, it was with Ethan Hawke, Uma Thurman, Gattaca. Did you ever see that, Jesse?
Yes, I've seen that movie a long time ago.
That's always a good film to pick up, but that always makes me wonder how far in advanced technology we're going to get before we actually know beforehand, like people's predispositions to things, right? When they're born and certain things. But remember, even Ethan Hawke's character, I don't want to give away the end, but he kind of surpassed his genetic code because he had more will than his brother. Do you remember that?
Not off the top of my head. It's been at least a decade or so since I've seen that movie last. Yeah,
which again, kind of reminds us that the inner spirit, the inner will, the inner drive can surpass even the faintest of like gene therapy. I would imagine. I mean, you know, genes help, but you know, it's about either peace of mind, sound of mind, and/or other things. But it was a really good movie, and Gattaca. I love science fiction, and that's one that always sticks with me whenever I talk about genes, because I think at some point, it would be great if we were able to figure out certain genes that make you get old and or sick, and maybe, you know, which I think coronavirus actually tackles some of the certain genes, in the code, but that's my theory. I'm sticking to it. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then coming up around the corner, super excited. Yeah, actually, I'm going to leave that one for last, because I'll talk about it now. I'm so happy about this next guest coming up at the half hour. National Geographic teamed up with somebody from Sesame Street. You know her as Maria for a powerful new kids book. It's named A World Together. Sonia Manzano, Sesame Street's Maria. And I don't think they really had to, you know, I don't think she had to beg them. And I'm pretty much sure like they probably said, please, would you do this for us? But you know, I think it's coming out at just the right time. I love Sesame Street because Sesame Street had so many, of course, little monster characters, but also it was a diverse cast, right? And it started way back when, which I wonder if all these kids that are all like racially motivated to be hateful against others, did they grow up on Sesame Street or did they just forget what Sesame Street was like, right? She played the Puerto Rican, right? By many people, they just said the Latina on the show, but Puerto Rican, you know, is hello, United States citizen, by the way, don't forget that. I still talk to people that forget about that. But don't forget about that. Remember when Trump just kind of said, yeah, they're on this island, and like he was like, it almost was like he didn't know how to help them, even though they're part of it. Like, is that how you're going to treat the rest of the Americans? Like, we're on a little island because we had a flood. Speaking of which, the world, floods, fires, disasters, tornadoes, hurricanes, all at once. It's been difficult to look at my timeline as of late. I'm talking about on Facebook and on Twitter. Many of you guys out there. I even heard a broadcast coming in very early to the station here, and they're like, we're just tired of the left and the right fighting. They're so against each other. We're looking for change. And I'm like, thank you. It's what I've been saying. You know, get somebody that's in the middle that thinks both ways and starts to do the right thing. And they actually kind of said that in essence. I'm like, thank you. It's been, maybe I'm not the only one that's picking that up. I'm pretty sure other people are picking that up. And I'm pretty sure you probably have heard it some way, same fashion and or form. But coming up just around the corner as well, this is happening in our lives. Yes, HIV, of course, is a manageable disease. Did you know that? It's a manageable disease. There's still progress to be made. Challenges are remaining for those who will be managing their HIV for the long term. But now a two-drug approach is giving certain people living with HIV another option. Today we're joined by Dr. Kimberly Smith, Head of Research and Development at VIIV Healthcare, to discuss the latest in HIV treatment research and what two-drug regimens mean for the community. Jesse, do we have our guests ready to go, or they still haven't called in?
Ready to go.
Fantastic. Then joining me right now is our special guest, Dr. Kimberly Smith. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Doc. Kimberly? All right, I think we're having issues getting her phone line over there. Maybe they put her on hold thinking she wasn't ready to go. Or maybe they hung up on us. I don't know. We'll try to get her back. But this interview is very interesting. And it's a pretty good interview, which hopefully she'll come back. Hopefully she'll call back or call back at a later time. I don't know. But evidently, according to this information, you can get more information at the Kaiser Family Foundation analysis of data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, National Center for HIV, AIDS, Viral Hepatitis, STD, and TB or Tuberculosis Prevention, Atlas Plus. And here's the story, and I'll read it because I'm not sure, because I know they had a limited 5-minute window. I think they're getting ready to go right there. Let's just put them on. Unless they have no more time, Jesse, then, you know, we got to let them move on. But I feel like they've kind of been on hold. But it's a live show, people. Bear with me. We'll try to get Dr. Kimberly Smith if she can spend some time with us. If she can't, then we're just going to have to let her go. They only gave us 5 minutes. Usually they give us 10 minutes. I'm like, 5 minutes, we'll fit it in because this is a very important subject. But if I have to read the article, then I'll just read the article. So there you go. If you're just joining us, find us on all social media platforms. Instagram, just type in Aaron M. Sanchez. Facebook, Aaron M. Sanchez. Jesse, are they ready to go, and can they spend time with us or no? I feel like they're giving Jesse a hard time. I really do. Are they ready to go, Jesse?
Yes, they are.
All right. Joining us right now, Dr. Kimberly Smith. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Doc.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I know you're up against another call, so because they only give us 5 minutes to spend with each other. Can you spend 5 minutes more or not really?
Yes, we're good.
Good. Kimberly, obviously a lot of people that don't have HIV and or getting diagnosed with it are happy to hear it's a manageable disease, but evidently more is being done or needs to be done. What can you tell us?
Well, you know, when HIV treatment first became available, it was extremely complicated, where individuals needed to take 20 or more pills a day. And not only was it complicated, but there were a lot of side effects associated with the medication. And so people didn't often had trouble taking them consistently. So over the past couple of decades, there have been significant improvements to the point that individuals can take as little as 1 pill a day. But that 1 pill, until recently, has included 3 or 4 medicines. And so the progress that we've made is that we've now created a treatment that includes only 2 medicines. And the reason why that's important is that every medicine has side effects. And so if you can reduce the number of medicines from 3 or 4 down to 2, then hopefully you can reduce the number of side effects that people experience. And that makes a big deal because in order to keep HIV under control and make it a manageable disease, people need to be able to take their medicines consistently every day And that's what gets their virus down and keeps it down in what we call undetectable, which means we can't see it with a routine test in the blood. The other important thing about that is that if people have that undetectable viral load, they get to live long lives, lives that are as long as individuals who don't have HIV disease. And if their virus is undetectable, they don't transmit HIV to their sexual partners. And so there's a lot of good news for people who are living with HIV.
Well, Doc, I'm so glad you're at the forefront of this. I got a lot of questions. I did meet a young girl who was born with it. You know, she didn't ask for it, but she was born with it. I met her I think she was 18 at the time. I think she's now 21. And she told me it wasn't easy growing up with it, but that she was at first diagnosed to probably end up dying at the young age of 8. Can you tell me how important this is, especially to those that, maybe they themselves didn't know they were going to get it, but they're born with it, and or those that just all of a sudden it pops up in their life, and now they think it's a death sentence, when in reality, it's not as and I don't know what the numbers are on that.
Well, I mean, the numbers are that roughly 38,000 people are HIV diagnosed every year in the United States. And there are roughly 38 million people living with HIV around the world. And so it's still a major, major challenge. And so, for someone who was unfortunate to have been born with it, or someone who just was unlucky and came across someone with HIV and happened to become infected, regardless of how people get it, the reality now is that thankfully there are good treatments, and really great treatments, that mean that individuals, if they can get on those medicines, can stay on those medicines, they can live long, healthy lives, and I think that's the most important thing.
Now I gotta ask, because of course with coronavirus around, it attacks the immunity. Is there a correlation that you're seeing right now, and why this is so important for even if it's 3, 5, or 20 pills? I can imagine it is difficult to remember them, but when it's your life, I mean, I could imagine, as simple as you make it. Are there some that just say, forget it, I'll just go if I get this, or are they pretty much 100% on board?
Well, so the medicine that we've made at Beef Healthcare, this medicine that is new called Dovato, is 2 medicines in 1 pill. You have to take 1 pill a day. And it's shown itself to be as effective as medicines, regimens that include 3 or 4 different medicines. And so that's really important. And what we found is actually people can do a very good job of consistently taking their medicines every day. And it makes a big difference. It makes a difference in their lives. And so, coronavirus is certainly a major challenge today. But no question that HIV, while it hasn't gotten the amount of attention lately as it did many years ago, it is still a major challenge in the world.
I am glad you're bringing that up. I kind of wondered why it kind of went under the table about 5 years ago, and I honestly didn't know why. I wanted to have the girl on, but she was kind of embarrassed, so she didn't come on to the radio show. But Doc, I know we've run out of time. I have so many questions for you. Where can we get more information on this, though?
So if folks would like to know more about Dovato, which is the medication the 2-drug medication that I was discussing, they can go to Dovato.com. That's Dovato.com. And certainly they can talk to their doctors about options for HIV treatment.
All right. Well, thank you very much for spending time with us. Thank you for getting the information out. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
Again, HIV is a manageable disease. There's still more work that needs to be done. Challenges still remaining for those who will be managing their HIV for the long term. But now the 2-drug approach is giving certain people living with HIV another option. You can get more information right there. We have to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned. Audience. Hello, everyone. We're back. That's right. Super excited about that interview, too. I wanted that one for a 10-minute, and as I'm sure you guys have questions that need answers, but you can find the information there as well. And you can also find out information. She didn't really mention it, but it's kff.org/state data. You can get more information there as well. So there you go. Lots of very good. Because, and again, on this show, a lot of people say, well, what do you discuss on the show if they've never watched it? We discuss it all. We have authors, we have important information you need to know about, right? Not always coronavirus, HIV, and a lot of questions still there, especially if you get diagnosed with it, right? She mentioned something about, having a partner and not transmitting it, which I've always kind of been on the fence on that one, to be honest. But it's amazing technology, right? When you invest the right amount of money, and how much money has been invested in the research, right? Which is why I still wonder why cancer is still an issue, but I'm sure they're doing something about that too. All right, let's see. Let's go to social media comments here. Appreciate you guys on Periscope. We see you. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know where you're tuning in from. All right. Sorry, I just saw a Facebook. Well, it was a comment. It was an odd comment. Let's see here. Sorry, I get distracted sometimes. It's hard. I saw a broadcaster from another radio station, and this broadcaster did a really good job filling in a lot of questions. She was able to bring the comments onto the platform, and I was like, you know what? I like the way she rolls. We should implement that. But then I'm like, I need a whole somebody behind the scenes to do that. It's all me, 100%. So, okay, you guys tuning in? Wow, we got a lot of people tuning in, actually. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see, we got Penelope there. We got Maria, sorry.
10 seconds.
Judy, thank you, Judy. Whenever Judy tunes in, our numbers always go up. I think Judy's like a little...
2 seconds.
Not like a rabbit foot, because that's weird, but you know what I mean? Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live streaming audience there, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, live Periscope, and also Stitcher, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and much, much more. We appreciate each and every one of you. Top of the news, world news, actually, is this. Let me scroll down just a bit here. All bad news. Okay, you know what? Let's go to coronavirus news. Well, look, there's some hope here. Well, this is one of the top stories there. But I would say, don't throw caution to the wind. Remember, we've had reopenings before, and look where we're at again. So just be careful again. Again, we've already neared. If you watched yesterday's show, we're I don't know if we just crossed the 200,000 deaths, and that's just here. Okay. In the United States of America. So just be careful out there, okay? But there you go. Now, California, though, according to this information, this is old information. Why are they showing this like this is new information? Because it's always being updated, that's why. Okay, well, you know what? I'm still going to click on that. LA, Ventura, San Bernardino, Riverside, Orange. Again, certain areas are opening differently. So you just basically, it's a day-by-day thing, right? One day you see one thing open and you go to a different county and all of a sudden it's different, which I get it. There's political push in certain areas and I can't blame them. I really can't. I want it to go back to the way it was as well. I'm all for it, 100%. Let's go to social media comments, okay, shall we? Let's see, Kenny tuning in, thank you. Gigi Gio tuning in, thank you. I enjoy listening as often as I possibly can. I appreciate you already. Thank you for saying that. Srihari tuning in. I think Srihari is tuning in from Nepal, by the way. Big shout out to you in Nepal, which I believe you're right in the middle of the whole debacle over there. Let us know what it's like over there, or if you've been because I understand the Chinese are now letting their people know about the unrest that's been happening between India and China, by the way. Evidently, it's state control. They control the message out there. Don't believe me. Look up, what was it? The Tank Man. Look that up. Chinese people in China don't even know that's a thing because it got expunged from their internet. Seriously, they control the internet. Which is why you don't want that happening here anytime soon. Just saying. Because, then that's how truth gets pushed to the side. Fake news. I'm just kidding. Whatever. I'm not going down that road. Not yet. Maria tuning in from Essex, Ontario, Canada. Canada. Oh, we love Canada as well. Thank you. We got people from Switzerland tuning in. We got many, many more. Okay, look. We got lots of news, lots of information, but I'm going to focus on some good news right here, right now. Back to the PlayStation. Jesse, can you give me a quick rundown on some of the really cool stuff that this PlayStation's going to have? We have less than a minute, so you feel free to run through it really quick.
Oh, for features? All I know is that I've seen the previews for it, and it just looks amazing. Just the way it looks, the aesthetics of it. And I'm not too keen. I know our other engineer, Sean, wants me to push the Xbox, but I'm going to be pushing the PS4, or 5.
You know what? Let Sean do his thing on his own time, I say. No, I get it. He loves the Xbox. And I get it because he understands the tech behind it. And I'm sure he loves the gaming behind it too. I'm still up in the air between the two. I think I need both to try out. So I think we should get Sean in the same vicinity and you in the same vicinity. And then we should practice social distancing with our face masks. And then we should just play each other's wireless. I'll get a remote, I'll get a control, and then I could do it from... Actually, you could play that game, social distancing, just saying. Or do so at your house and then do the live feature. I love live for that reason. I haven't done it so long. All right, people, we got to take a break. Coming up next, I'm so excited about this. Seriously, I'm excited probably more than Grover would be excited. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's right. Maria's going to be joining us, talking about her latest book, A World Together. Sonia Manzano, not Maria, but Sonia, that's her real name. She's coming up just around the corner. Stay tuned.
Yep.
Sonia Manzano is on the line. I'm so excited. Oh, man, I am so excited. Cookie Monster be excited, too. Seriously, Jesse, like all my voices came from Sesame Street. It's a thing, Sonia Manzano.
What's funny is that's kind of how I was all giddy when William Sadler was here, so I feel you.
Yeah, that's me on like cloud 9. I don't think I'm going to come down off of cloud 9 for at least a month. Seriously, there could be, there's reality. But you know what? For the rest of the day, I'm 100%. Nothing can bring me down. Seriously. I always say that, and something brings me down. But I always focus on the positive. As of late, it's been all negative.
Don't ever say that, because then something always happens.
Well, you know what? Even when I say it's going to be positive, it's going to be positive. There's something that comes up, I'm like, really? So I have to go, okay, what's the good news? What's the good news? Focus on that. Still got the morning show. Got you guys, right? So whenever there's bad things going on in your life behind the scenes and you don't let anybody know, just remember, you got to focus. You got to push that to the side as much as possible. It still creeps up in your head, but focus on this. The next guest is awesome. I'm just telling you, I already know it. I already know it. I just can't wait. Okay, so there you go. All right. That makes all this crazy stuff that's been going on in my life, I can't wait. All right. Sorry. I'm excited. Can you tell?
I can tell.
In fact, I should bring up her information so I share it right, because I'll be all about Sesame Street and nothing about her book. It's terrible. All right, let me focus. I'm a different guy when I go on air. Just watch. Very calm, very collected.
And then when he starts talking to her, he's going to sound like Elmo and
Nah, I don't do that with guests. I keep that to myself. Because I don't know how they're going to react, They're like, all right, great, fanboy, Got to be professional.
Right? I gotcha.
My heart's palpitating. It's Maria. I just... Seriously, if you
10
grew up on
seconds.
Sesame Street, you understand my excitement right here.
2 seconds.
So much.
That's right. It is the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live streaming audience there, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope TV, YouTube Live, LinkedIn, and wherever you find us. Speaking of somebody that you can find all the time, that's right, especially in her latest book. It's all about National Geographic's latest book, which is very appropriate right here, right now. A World Together. Sonia Manzano from Sesame Street's, yes, very own Maria. Good morning, welcome to the show, Sonia.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Sonia, look, I'm not going to lie, okay? I'm going to try to keep it cool and be really, really, really cool. But I can imagine whenever people see you down the street, they kind of want to, like, sing the tune of Sesame Street, or am I wrong?
No, you're right. They want to sing. They want to tell me how much they loved watching the show, and then they start to cry, which is a reaction I don't look for, but I get it often.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you had, anybody when you, like, in your very childhood that you've ever met in person, because you've met so many celebrities, so many politicians, so many people around the world, and everybody knows you. I mean, but do you ever have that moment where you had that of somebody else in your life?
I don't think I have. I guess I was thrilled when I met Ray Barretto, who's a great Puerto Rican conguero. I was thrilled when I finally met him, and he was on Sesame Street. But when I was a kid, there weren't too many kid shows on the air, and all of them, none of the ones that were on the air spoke to me, so I didn't have that kind of celebrity.
Well, and I'm glad you took a moment aside from your celebritydom. I don't know what you call it nowadays. But what I mean by that is this. You put a really impactful book that is really needed right here, right now. Let's talk about that. A World Together. What was your idea for putting this book together? And then, of course, National Geographic saying, yeah, we would love to publish it. Or did they approach you first?
They approached me first, and I jumped at the chance. Obviously, the world is not together, and race relations in the United States are just awful, more than I could ever have imagined them getting so bad, because I thought we solved these problems in 1969 with Sesame Street and civil rights, and President Johnson wanting to create the great society, and everybody was positive. I mean, there were problems, but it was a positive, idealistic time. And now we're like in this dark time where to show compassion is considered a sign of weakness as opposed to a trait that we love. So, yes, I thought, yes, let's show, let me write a book about how we're all the same. We all love, we all need shelter, we all are warmed by the same sun, we all feel hungry for different things, tamales, lechon, caviar, pizza, whatever, and we all feel good when our hunger is satisfied. And those are the ways we are all the same. We're part of the human condition. The human experience does not change. Over the years, they won't change. The only thing that's different is the cultures that we come to, and those are the things that we celebrate.
Yeah, look, you'll be forever known in our hearts as Maria. I could imagine people call you Maria out of, like, mistake, going, you're Maria, and you're like, no, that's not my name. But look, here's my question for you. Obviously, you mentioned something that I just talked about yesterday on the show. When we look at leadership, I look at leadership as I want somebody that's going to look out for not just me, but of every person from any ethnicity, any background, any person that's here and around the world. Can we talk about why your book is so important for not just here in the United States of America, but for around the world?
I'm very happy that the word world is in the title, and I didn't realize when we decided on the title, when National Geographic came up with the title, that the word global would be used so much in our everyday conversation because the world is indeed getting smaller. We are all sharing the COVID cloud of concern and trying to work underneath that cloud of concern. So I think it's time to sort of look at the whole picture, and it is everybody in the world, and it's everybody in America. We can't exist on our own and isolated.
And Sonia, I'm so glad you said that. Again, that's what our show's about. We hit an international audience, and rightly so, because we're online as well. We're local, we're late breaking, but we're also reach out with social media. Speaking of your book, I understand there's some really cool pictures. Is there anything that was published in there that you go, you know what? Even it brings a little tear to my eye, or a memory that was shared in there?
Yes, the one where the kids are playing in the fire hydrant sprinkler. That is such an urban experience. It was kind of what I used to do for fun in the South Bronx, was wait for the firemen to come. Actually, we just kind of used to open them on our by ourselves, which was not very cool. And now the fire department comes and puts sprinklers on the fire hydrants so kids could cool off in the summer. And I wanted that urban experience to be in the book so that kids in other parts of the country can see how we had fun.
Well, and you guys had lots of fun on Sesame Street. I know you've been asked this probably a billion times, but they say, like, based on your personality, there's certain ones that you really just have just a like, you just think of the world of. Was there one character that you were just like, oh, I get to have you again?
Oh, well, I jokingly say that I retired from Sesame Street because 44 years was long enough for me to wait for Oscar the Grouch to propose, because he was my favorite character. I love playing scenes with Oscar the Grouch. But if you're asking me about guest stars on Sesame Street that I so loved, I have to say it was Stevie Wonder.
Wow.
And he came and he played Superstition, and everybody was on the same page. Everybody was rocking out, white people, black people, little kids, old kids. It was just a great moment of coming together.
Sonia, I know we have to let you go, but before we let you go, again, for those that haven't picked up the book, obviously, because, just getting released, but just last bit of information, why should somebody who is not typically in a mixed culture want to get this, especially now?
Because it's exciting and it's curious, and when I learn about another culture, I am intrigued, and it gives me answers to questions of my own.
I couldn't have said it better. Sonia Manzano, thank you very much for spending time with us. It's the book, A World Together. Thank you for making all of our dreams come true every single day.
Thank you very much for saying such kind words. Stay well.
You too as well. All right, so we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after these messages. Again, go check it out. It's in bookstores and or online. You can check it out and go check out Sonia Manzano. She's working on a lot of stuff. We didn't get to that information, but go check her out online as well. I'll include I got to go follow her. I didn't even know is she on social? I hope she is. All right, we'll be back right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, there you go. How cool was that? Now I could be myself. I could be all like unprofessional and be like, come on, Jesse, tell me that wasn't kind of cool, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm sure people are really getting excited on social media too, by the way. I'm not the only one. I mean, how cool was that? I can't hear you, buddy.
It was cool. Your caller is on, Sarah South.
I feel sorry for Sarah. Sarah's got a hard act to follow. But Ancestry DNA is really good information, too. I'm just saying.
It is. So I think I remember her on Sesame Street because I watched episodes, but I can't quite remember everything. Was there a dark skinned dude with her?
They were all different shades there. I can't.
Because I remember.
Yes,
her,
I know who you're talking about. With the mustache?
Maybe.
Oh, they were.
It's been
yeah.
so long.
As a kid, I forgot like their names because I wasn't focused on people's names. It wasn't until there I go, oh, that's Maria. I just remember like, oh, I love her. I just, it's a thing. I mean, that's, what, if you're just known for one thing and it's something that kind of like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It was back to back. I'd watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, then I watched Sesame Street, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And once you get that tune in your head, kind of hard to get it out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, let me get the next guest ready. Hold on, I got to focus here. Focus. There you go.
Yes, get off your cloud.
I know. I was good, though. That was professional, right?
Yeah, it was. It was awesome.
She went on as totally fanboy, I hope. I remember somebody going, he is so fanboy, that's so unprofessional. You know what? Then you do it and try to be that way with somebody like you grew up on. I mean, it's just a thing, okay?
It is. It's hard.
It is. It's hard. It's different. I tell people that. I say, watch. Back to my uncle. When he saw Mickey Rooney in the flesh, and he was like, not Mickey Rourke, Mickey Rooney, Judy Garland, okay? My uncle seen every celebrity out there, whatever. The moment he saw Mickey Rooney, he couldn't talk. He was like a little kid again because he watched him as a kid. You know what I mean?
10 seconds. Yeah.
He's like, that's Judy Garland's favorite partner. Yeah.
2 seconds.
That's mycayman.com.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live streaming audience there online. Ancestry Health is empowering moms to take care of family health with new consumer genetics technology. Did you know that nearly 60% of parents say COVID-19 has increased their interest in understanding genetic health? I'm right there with them on a couple items. Joining us right now is the VP of Laboratory Sciences at Ancestry DNA, Sarah South. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Thanks for having me on, Aaron.
Well, look, we live at a very interesting time that I think people, like way back in time, would have thought, what? There's DNA and that stipulates like pretty much everything in our like hemisphere? Can you talk to us about some really cool stuff you guys are innovating?
Yeah, in fact, I became fascinated with the role that DNA plays in human health even back, I'm going to say 30 years ago. But we've learned so much since then. We know that, again, not all health is genetics, but certainly genetics plays a role in our health. And that's what Ancestry Health is here to do. It's an extension of the current Ancestry experience where we used your DNA to help you understand where your ancestors came from thousands and hundreds of years ago and who you're related to. But now we're expanding it with a new technology to do a more comprehensive review of your DNA for genetic health risks. So things in your DNA that increase your chances of developing some preventable conditions, with the hope that if you know about the risk ahead of time, you can take those preventable actions and prevent the condition from developing. We're talking about some significant conditions such as breast cancer and colon cancer, or cardiovascular conditions such as a genetic predisposition to high cholesterol, which over time can do damage to your coronary artery system, or to an increased risk for blood clots. It's simple as far as just fitting into a tube and then extracting the DNA, but the technology behind it is not so simple. It's next-generation sequencing, which is a new innovation that really digs deep into your DNA to look across these genes for these risk factors. And so if you have a risk, this new technology is more likely to identify that risk. But again, not all health is genetics, so if nothing is found through this test, you may still have a risk for these conditions. And so in those situations, your report is still going to let you know, what can I do about my lifestyle and my diet and other things that are controllable so so that I can prevent some of these cardiovascular conditions or cancer conditions.
Well, and look, I mean, I remember the first time I really got exposed to DNA, and I still do it. Dino DNA, right? Like everybody I saw at Jurassic Park all of a sudden understood what DNA does. And for those that still don't, I kind of tell them it's like the blueprint of your body tells your body what to do, when to do it. And if you understand the blueprint, I mean, I can't wait till we map every single gene that's out there and understand what does what, when it does it. Because I would imagine there's certain things that you could do along the way, or is there?
No, it's an evolving science for sure, and so I've enjoyed watching that as my own career has progressed. But yeah, we've got a decent list, and it's a growing list of things where we know genetics plays a role, and we know that these conditions can be prevented. So, for example, we know that 1 in 8 women are at risk of developing breast cancer, but we know that there is a subset of women who, through genetic alterations in their DNA, are at an even higher risk, so maybe a 1 in 2 chance. Now, again, the genetics doesn't mean that they absolutely are going to have breast cancer, but it means that there's an increased risk. And if I knew I had that increased risk, then I would be very proactive about my mammograms and talking to my physician about other things that I can do to prevent breast cancer so that I can stay healthy for me and healthy for my family. Again, that's the focus of Ancestry Health, is helping you stay healthy by helping you understand any genetic predispositions you have to these preventable conditions.
Well, okay, and look, I've got a lot of questions that need to be answered, obviously. I know we're up against a hard break with you, but here's my last question, okay? I understand with coronavirus, obviously, I don't understand everything when it comes to the DNA. I have my own theories that it's attacking certain people with certain gene situations or deficiencies. Is there such a thing as that, or not really?
Yeah, absolutely. Your genetics is playing a role in both your susceptibility and severity. And that's another initiative within Ancestry, is consenting current customers, asking them, voluntarily provide information about your symptoms, about any tests, both people who've been affected and unaffected, matching that with your DNA so that we can make those discoveries. What is it that increases your susceptibility or your severity? And we're sharing that not just in Ancestry, but through de-identification and consent with the larger international community so that we can make more rapid discoveries and validate each other's findings. And you can learn all about this, both the Ancestry Health test as well as our COVID-19 research studies, at ancestry.com/health.
All right, I know you got to go. Last question for you of the day. I know you're talking about moms and families. Why is it important? Because I think like the guys out there, they're the last one, unless their lady in their life goes, hey, we need to do this. But any advice for the men in the world as well? Because I think the mothers kind of get it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you that sometimes it's easy to procrastinate something that you know is probably good for you, but, there's a lot of things to do on your plate. But staying healthy for yourself and staying healthy for your family is very important. Again, this is a simple thing to do. You go to the website, you sign up for it, you answer some questions online, you get your results through your secure Ancestry portal, and it helps you know those next steps. And you can also share that information, if you choose, with your family, because you share DNA with them. So if you have risks, they may have those risks too.
That's the one I want to see if me and Jesse are like somehow related, like lost, super lost cousins. You know what I mean? Like 5th generation down. Can you do that, just out of curiosity?
Oh, absolutely. So for almost 10 years now, Ancestry has been involved in helping people identify the people that we're related to, not just your close relatives, but even, those 5th and 6th cousins.
Okay, that's going to happen in my life. There's a couple people I've been wondering. They call me cousin. I'm like, are we really cousin? Let's get the test. All right, people. I appreciate you again, Ancestry DNA. Thank you very much for spending time with us here on the morning show.
Thank you for having me. Take care.
You too. All right. Ancestry DNA is where it's at, and I'm telling you, that stuff is amazing what they could do. I'm just saying, Jesse, you got to go watch Gattaca again. That's where I think we're heading in the future. I mean, I could see like certain because I don't know if you remember, but there was a scene where they tested the baby when the baby was born. They did like this little blood test, and it came back so quick. They're like, and they mentioned a couple different like potential diseases that youngborn would get versus the other one that was born more healthy. and then one was allowed to go into space and the other wasn't, but he fought tooth and nail because his will and his power was so much more, which I think, again, certain people's DNA isn't the end-all, be-all, but it's kind of the blueprint, which I go back to, there must be a creator who put all these little things in detail to kind of, make it so that, our fingers and our eyes grow in the same place the majority of the time, right? If there's not some type of interaction, our hair color is a certain color based on DNA. I mean, if you really study the science of DNA, it's pretty amazing. What do you think, Jesse?
Yeah, that'd be, I kind of want to do that now and see who's related to me, and you never know.
You never know. So go check it out, Ancestry DNA. I know we've had in the past people that listen on the morning show, and they said that they did one of these DNA tests, and they actually found out some really cool stuff. And I think they found a long lost brother, or I can't remember the story, but it was really cool. So I was like, good, thank you for sharing your story with us. We love it when some of our listeners share that. And if you're just joining us on the radio, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Instagram, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and whatever else is wanting to stream out there quite soon. We love you because many of you follow us. Follow us at Aaron M. Sanchez on most platforms. If you can't find that, type in Aaron Michael Sanchez. Also, by the way, our YouTube channel is alive and well. You can find us at youtube.com/The Morning Show with Aaron Michael Sanchez. I know it's a long title. I've tried to get a smaller title, but I just couldn't. And I didn't want to do The Morning Show because then Jennifer Aniston's on that. You know what? That morning show really messed us up. I always get tagged in the morning show stuff, and I'm like, I'm not Jennifer Aniston. She's not on our show. So, but you know what? I'm like, oh, well, it is. I mean, it's a general topic, the morning show. But that's why it has my name in it with Aaron Michael Sanchez. You get it? You get it? So it's, it could never be taken from me because it has my name in it. So there you go. Anyway, look, you got stories. We got stories. But I want to leave you with a little bit of good news, okay? Jesse, quick question. PlayStation or Xbox, which do you think is going to rule the entire purchasing decisions of every gift made to both young little boys and young little girls?
Ooh, that's a tough decision. I don't know. In the beginning, I was an Xbox person, but there was something about it that when the Xbox 360 came out, I kind of lost hope. And and then I just became Sony all the way. So PS5.
So Xbox lost you at 360. I'm not going to lie, I sold that one quick just to get some cash for it because I needed it at the time. And I didn't look back. I'm kind of with you there. But, that's when Halo, remember Halo, I think was what level are they at with Halo now? But my point is, look, I really care about the games, okay? But Xbox I don't know if PlayStation's going to have this. I know they have an all digital one where it's not CDs in it, which I'm like, oh, are we going there? Which I kind of wonder, places like GameStop and other electronic stores, is it going to be like the music stores of yesteryear? You know what I mean? Because without CDs or purchase, you know what I mean? It's all like Netflix. All of a sudden you have no need for which I'm kind of sad to see that go. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I do buy digital games from time to time, but there's nothing like opening a case and then taking out the disc. But you know what? I'm a lover of books, so I'm old school. So
I say don't throw away any of your devices. One day they're going to be worth lots of money. You know, I think somebody that had the original Atari system, the very first one, sold it for, or the Commodore, was the Commodore on one too, that they got a lot of money for it. So don't throw that stuff out. I say put it in a box, label it priceless in about 50 years or maybe 100, I don't know, and then give it to your grandkids, okay, if you kick the bucket sooner than later. Look, we got lots of stories. We didn't share any of them because I wanted to do more feel-good news, some interesting news, and some amazing technology, all right? Again, back to Ancestry DNA. Look, here's my theory. I'm just going to throw it out here, right now. I feel, and I hate to say this, but I've seen the news headlines, this coronavirus, my views are mine alone, they're not of those of the station, are technically, I think it was engineered by somebody. And I know the news has kind of come out by that. And I have to ask, I don't know if you saw the news headlines as of late, they're saying it's been hitting certain ethnicities at a higher rate than others. Have you seen that, Jesse?
Yeah, I've heard that headline quite a few times.
Now I'm not going to lie. There's a really good, go check it out, Designated Survivor. Designated Survivor has Kiefer Sutherland play the president. He all of a sudden becomes the president. Nice guy. I won't tell you how he becomes president, but he becomes president overnight. In the third season, there's one that talks almost, I mean, it's almost like indicative of what this one is. And it was a bioengineered virus that targeted certain people's cells that happened to be of a different, I'm just going to say ethnicity, okay? I'm going to put that very blanket out there. But I don't know if that's true, false, untrue. Maybe it was just that show that made me kind of think about that. But go check it out, Designated Survivor, really good show on Netflix. Go all the way, let's see, first season's amazing. Second season, it's okay. Third season, look at the one that's the virus one. If you just skip forward to that one and then scroll your way back, I turned my mom onto this. She's seen it several times, and she always picks up something new. And I'm like, right. I feel like somebody knows something about hopefully a new president coming, at least one day, I hope. But there you go. Hopefully it's like the Simpsons episode, right? I mean, some of it you're like, oh God, that's what we're going through right now. So there's a moment in there, and the virus comes out really bad, kind of like coronavirus. And it came out in 2019, by the way, right before the coronavirus came. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Designated Survivor, Kiefer Sutherland, a host of a great cast. And one of them is called Aaron, by the way. I like it. A Latino, like, as a VP. You know what? I would vote for that guy, not just because he's Latino, but in the show, he's like, he's manly, man. You're like, anyway. Okay, see you guys later. We'll see you around the corner. Bye-bye, everyone. All right, for the rest of you tuning in, I appreciate you more than you know. I appreciate you just for sharing, for retweeting, for sharing on YouTube, for commenting when you comment, because YouTube actually looks for comments. So if you comment on there. And then YouTube says, oh, this must be kind of popular. I'm going to go and promote it. You have to actually pay to play to get in the YouTube space. I don't know if you know that. I recently am trying that, testing out their algorithm. But anyway, it's a long story. So any help you guys get, go check us out. Subscribe if this is your first time, your 8th time, your 20th time. I'm going to go ahead and post a link on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Hopefully get some more traffic there. I've never focused on that channel, but I'm going to focus on it here and now because I think we're going to have some really good stories coming up around the corner. I'm already looking at our calendar. We're booked out 5 weeks already, and we got a lot of very interesting content, one of which is coming up next week about Russia. I know what you're thinking. Why are we focusing on Russia? Russia's done some pretty bad stuff. It involves a religion, and that's all I'm going to say about that, okay? So, and you're going to go, what is going on in the world? Oh, my goodness. And my question, of course, is this. Hopefully that never happens here in the States, because I feel like some people really like Vladimir, if you know what I mean. Kind of like applaud him at times and is secretly in his heart. I'm not going to say who, but there you go. All right, people, I'm running out of time. It's time for you to let us go. So we'll see you tomorrow here on the morning show. Again, go check it out. I'm so happy about this book. Go check it out. I love it. I love the story and the reason it's so good. A World Together, Sonia Manzano. Yes, Sesame Street's very own Maria. She's really doing some great stuff, reminding people that, again, we're on this earth together. Don't forget that. And remember, something that she said, very interesting. I talked about it on yesterday's show, a little bit after the show. You can check it out. Just go to the episode before this episode on my timeline or just search for it. I don't know how you search for it. Just go to the one previous to this one, okay? Yesterday's show. And on that one, I talked about what kind of president do you want? A kind-hearted, loving, and or respectful one, or maybe you don't drop the respect. Maybe you don't like the kind because you're like, he doesn't get stuff done. But somebody that puts other people first versus a haughty one who is the opposite of loving. Do you understand? So I put this question to a couple people, and they said, well, obviously the loving one. I said, well, then why would you think the other one's like more superior? And isn't that true in our lives? In our lives, we honestly think love, kindness, humility, being humble, going along with what is out there, like, is suddenly a bad thing. You know the people, right? I don't know if you yourself think that. I always hear this thing, and it really bothers me, because some people pretend to be the good guy, some people are the good guy, and some people don't want to be the good guy anymore. For example, you know how many men out there I talk to on a regular basis that say, yeah, she basically, like, went with the bad guy. What? No way. Yeah, she went with the guy that does nothing good. He cheats on her all the time, but she keeps going back to that guy. And I hear that time and again. And I go, Well, don't let that get you down. And they go, well, how come? You know what? That seems to be the only thing that the ladies like. True, by the way. And then on the flip side, I have so many conversations, probably 1 billion to 1, that say, why can't I find a nice, decent person that truly loves me for me and not my body, or not what I can give them, or just me? To which I say, you probably have a friend in your own circle that has been quiet because he's been waiting for you to get it through your thick skull that guess what? He really cares about you, he loves you, but you've been conditioned to always look at the bad person in the room because you think the bad guy is the stronger of the two. Not true. You know who's the strongest one in the relationship? If it is a bad guy that went good, meaning he tries to be good, he's the strong one in the relationship because he loves not just himself, but you too, 100%. And he doesn't lie about it. He doesn't say, oh yeah, well, I love you for today, but no strings attached. Okay, just saying. You get in with that guy's not going to make a commitment no matter what. You understand what I'm saying with that? But I see women all the time jump into bed, quite literally, with these type of men that say, and they know it. They know that they're like, why does he do this? Why does he run off with other women? I don't get it. But they go right back. Second time it happens, they go right back. They complain every time. You probably have friends that do this, right? But I say this. You know what you're doing, ladies. You're actually making all the good guys want to be bad guys. So they give up. They go, well, you know what? Fine. I know at least a lot of guys that actually used to be really good one day, but somebody broke their heart so much, they said, you know what? It's not what the ladies like. They always end up with the bad guy. I'm going to tell you a story about somebody I know, a family friend. He never married in his life. I'm not going to say his name because he probably doesn't want this information out there. He only told one person, me and another friend. He says, I've never talked about this, but here it is. So I'm going to keep his name under wraps. This one gentleman, great individual. All the ladies love him. I met like 20 that were like, oh, I love him. They all love him, okay? He's now about, I want to say 72. And I always wondered this about him. And I know other people thought this too, and they thought, why did you never get married? Right? Some would never say it. And one day I was at lunch with him and a friend. And the friend said, so how come you're still single? I don't get it. You're such a great individual. To which he said, do you really want to hear the story? Sure, we got time. At the end of the story, I was like, oh my God. Now I know why you never married. You want to hear the story? Here it is. He fell in love with a woman at the wrong time, in the wrong situation. And here's what I mean. He fell in love with a woman who left her husband, or he left her. I can't remember that part. I think he left her. Yeah, that's what it was. He left her with children. I believe there was 3 children. I could be wrong, sketchy on the details. This was like 8 years ago I heard this story. To which it's a very common story, which is why I'm sharing it. So he left the other guy. I might call him bad guy, okay? He left her, obviously, for another woman. No guy leaves his wife just because he wants to be alone. You get what I'm saying? If a guy says that to you, he's got another girl waiting. Just 100% true. So this gentleman, the nice guy, okay? But I'm going to call him gentleman because he's a gentleman still to ladies. The bad guy left the woman. Here comes gentleman, nice guy, into her life. How can I help? Lady, probably heartbroken. I don't know. He didn't share her perspective in the story. But obviously, they formed a connection. And a loving connection. He fell for her, boom, like that. His heart just 100% all in. And he accepted each and every one of those kids as his own. 100% true, by the way. Now, you're probably thinking, where did this go? Well, I was like on pins and needles. I was like, so where did this go? Here's the sad part. About a year and a half later, the bad guy comes back like a gentleman. I'll take care of the kids, this and this and that. I'll take care of you too. Fine. You know what happened there? I can almost tell you 100%. Whenever the guy comes back, he didn't find anything out there like the one he was with, and he has regret. I'll give him that. I'll give him that, because obviously he's still married to her. He obviously figured out, oh, that's right, I'm kind of stupid. There's a lot of men like that. I'm just saying, you women, you know who they are. And hopefully you're not that guy. But that gentleman said, huh? Because the lady says, yeah, I'm going back to him. He's the father of my kids. I'm just saying, if you were that person, you invested a lot of time, you invested a lot of kindness, and you were like, but I don't know if he ever called out that guy's like actions, but he kind of almost had his handcuffs put on, right? You can't say that. He's the father of the kids. He wants to come back and he wants to provide for me and the kids. To which, to this day, that said person says this out loud quite a few times. He says, all they ever want is money. Huh? I remember when he said that, I didn't know the whole situation. Once he shared that, I said, what did she really go back for? Well, I didn't have a lot of money at the time. I didn't have a really good job, he said. So I couldn't provide for them the best way possible, and the rest is history. But fast forward in time, that woman still checks up on him, the gentleman. Because in her heart of hearts, she realized, I think, which a lot of women do, oh, I got into a financial situation and I can't get out. And there we are. To which I say, don't be either person. Here's what I mean by that. The gentleman is a gentleman to the ladies, okay? He's a gentleman. Doesn't think anything, doesn't want anything. He's a 100% gentleman. Strong Catholic upbringing, 100% devout. You understand what I'm saying? 100% devout. However, for the longest time, after that, I said, well, when did you meet her? How long ago was this? Well, we were about 48. Do you secretly hope maybe one day she'll come back? I never asked him, but I always thought that in my head, because I get that mentality. I think in his head, he thought maybe the other guy would leave at some point. But the other guy knows about him. So he's probably in it to win it just so that she doesn't go off with him. And I don't know if that was the reason he found, oh, you're right. Oh, man, hey, I'll be back. I don't know the situation with the other guy. I'll call him bad guy, because I think in the end, you can't be good if you just come back for that reason. If you left your kids, you left your wife unattended to, financially poor, in the bucket, and then you suddenly come back because guess what? She didn't have the wherewithal to be able to say, you know what, I'm pretty sure I could find a way to make money and maybe move in with my family, make money without taking any of yours. I'm pretty sure I can do that. Maybe she just didn't have the wherewithal, and maybe in her heart of hearts, she actually went against her heart, which was wanting to be with gentlemen. Otherwise, she wouldn't check up on him quite regularly. Do you get where I'm going with this? Now, I'll give her this. She is 100% loyal to that other man, but who should she have been loyal to begin with? Agree or disagree? I think she should have been loyal to gentlemen. Gentlemen out there, if they go back 100%, go marry the other guy that left them, because I know of quite a few families that do this as of late. They break up and then they get back together. And they usually do it for the kids, 100% of the time. But is that how you want to live your life, with regret all throughout life? That's a personal decision. I can't make up that decision for you. But here's what I could say. If you still pine after the person that you left and you knew you shouldn't have left them, agree to disagree. Cut that off 100%. And go with the person that will love you, take care of you, and eventually financially take care of you. Or maybe both of you will financially figure it out. I mean, we live during coronavirus, right? People are cutting corners left, right, and center. I think even the rich are cutting corners. No, not true? They have a lot to spare? Well, give it a couple of years. Trust me, they'll cut corners. But back to the rest of everybody. Everybody's cutting corners right now. Everybody's moving in with one another. Everybody is trying to do the right thing just to keep afloat. Bare minimum. Anybody that tells you the opposite, I say you're a liar. I get it. You want your numbers to look good. Anybody can fudge numbers. But talk to the families around the world, and you're going to find it's very difficult. I posted a tweet which was like, are you unemployed? No, I didn't post that. Something about, are you hurting? And a lot of people didn't want to answer. But I'm going to phrase it in such a way on my Twitter. Find me on Twitter, Aaron M. Sanchez. I'm going to phrase it in such a way people are going to want to answer the question I'm going to pose. But I think a lot of people are financially really hurting right now. Probably had a job, didn't have a job, probably was barely making ends meet. Now they had a little tiny nest egg, and the majority of us all live paycheck to paycheck. Or not at all. We depend on government. Some countries don't even have government. You know that? They're even worse off. True. If there's any country you want to be in, it would be United States of America. True? True. I think so. I think we have it well off. I think that's why some of us have time to protest and be like, "Face mask, they're so wrong." But back to the gentleman, okay? Very important. Gentleman ended up single the rest of his life. He has at least 3 women that I know would take him in a heartbeat. 3 women. And I told him that. I says, she's really interested in you. I mean, I don't know if you've seen how she looks at you, but she'll do anything for you. No, I'm good. So fast forward. This said gentleman got taken for his money by a woman from Mexico. True. 100% true. Why? Because at that point, he felt, this woman has a child. Not one, but several. I think in his heart of hearts, he always felt he should have had a family because he was hoping the other family would have been his family. But he didn't know the lady was playing him for a fool. It came out at the very end. That's all you need to know. But my point is this. In life, sometimes love, money, get a little confusing after a while. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes, and this isn't my first rodeo, okay? I've had others say the same thing. I need you to make the money that, pay for the house that I just bought, okay, because my ex was able to, and maybe they don't say that, but they do by their actions, right? Ex was able to make more money than you are. And I remember one time with one relationship trying to make the amount of money just to catch up to the amount that her ex made, but he left her in the lurch. So I was there to pick up the pieces. But I'm like, this is a huge amount. Mike, how much was it? He's in tech? I'm not in tech. How am I going to do that? All right, got to sell a lot of stuff. And I just was there just trying to make, just like, how can I get up to his level? How can I get up to his level? I don't think I can. I don't know. To which later on, a good friend said to me, if you truly love somebody, you'll figure it out financially. You both will figure it out eventually. Sometimes in some of these relationships, and I know some of the women are the ones working, sometimes the man is not working, sometimes the man takes care of the family. I've seen this, I know this to be true. I met quite a lot of households. I met one household, one daughter, father, mother, and their marriage was on the line. She complained about him left and right. Why doesn't he work? Why doesn't he work? Why doesn't he work? He used to make good money working. So she was taking up the majority of the financials, 100%. While he wasn't working. And she couldn't figure it out. She couldn't figure it out. And finally, I gave her the answer. Would you like to know the answer? Sure. I said to him, it took him a while, about 8 months to be honest. All of a sudden, he got a really good paying job. But in between, I had a conversation with them too, and I said, look, it'll get better. Focus on the love you had at first. If that love isn't there 100%, I get it. But I think if it's there just 1/10 of the percent, you have the ability to fan the flame. You just have to know how to fan it. Sometimes it's the man. Sometimes it's the ladies in the room. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes we forget what those little date nights are like. Sometimes we forget what family is like. For all of you single people, you don't know what family life is like. You just don't. I thought I did, and I didn't until I was like instant family, right? Always said it here on the morning show. It was like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of work. 3 kids, huh? But I was all in. And I think a lot of men are all in. They step in as a potential step-parent. They do everything for that family, 100%. Back to the other man. Gentleman. He did the same thing. The kids love him, by the way. They grew to love him. And to have suddenly that ripped from him, he was unable to move on in his life. Until he got taken advantage because he was so desperate because he's seeing his clock ticking. And he's like, how long am I going to be in this earth? I don't know, but I kind of want a family. I don't have any family to call me my own. So I get his desperation. Unfortunately, he trusted in the wrong lady. To which I say to the men in the room, don't trust the wrong lady. Sometimes love can be blind. Sometimes love can be tied to financials. You know, in mixed marriages, I know that term isn't the proper term, but mixed marriages, okay? What I mean is, the lady brings like different kids to the pool table. Let's put it like that. The guy sometimes brings none, sometimes brings 1, sometimes brings 5, right? Or maybe it's the flip side. I've heard so many women that get involved with the family, they get taken for a ride because the ex in the family doesn't like that other person, so they speak abusively of that person. You bring all your balls to the pool table. You understand what I'm saying? You bring all the children to the pool table, rack them up, and just let them sit. You understand? You just let them, hey guys, get along. You're in this nice little triangle. You know the triangle that you rack them up, you put them on, you put the 8 ball in the middle, you put number 3, number 2, number 8, 26, your odds and ends. I don't remember how many, you got the red ones, you got the blue ones, you got the yellow ones, you got the solids, you got the striped ones, all different. All different. You put them all harmoniously together right there, and you leave it. You step away. I like that. That looks good. Let's keep it like that. But then somebody comes in as the cue ball. Boom. Breaks them all up. What just happened? Oh my God. Well, it's a pool table. Hello, that's what we do. Yeah, but I just put it together. But you know who that white ball is? That's sometimes the evildoer. And sometimes that evildoer is in the family. Sometimes they're outside of the family. Sometimes that's just life. Let's just call it life, okay? That's life. It breaks the whole family up. This child goes that way, this child goes that way, everybody, or they all get, because now they start bumping into one another, right? All right, hey, let's see, in the corner pocket, boom. It's going to hit a ball that hits a ball that hits another ball, and then boom, it goes in, right? That's life. Life hits each and every one of us into a pocket. Sometimes, thank God, the cue ball misses, depending on who's shooting, right? Like, oh man, oh thank God, that could have hurt us as a family. Oh, this is terrible. But sometimes the expert, master artist, right? You all know that person? Nobody can get around that guy. He, boom, 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 right? I don't know. But you understand what I'm saying? I call that the evildoer, the one that knows how to break up families, left, right, and center. To which I say, cheat, okay? Go get all those balls, group them out together if that's your family, and say, we're done. I'll take my balls somewhere else. Seriously. I'm not playing pool with you anymore. These are my kids I'm talking about. This is my family. It's called a game for a reason, right? I think in some ways our life is played like a game. It's sad, but true. We sometimes can't put everything safe and together and be like, okay, that's 100%, you can walk away. No, you got to see it unfold as it is and hope, thank to God, that hopefully the other person doesn't win. Right? You ever do the solids and stripes? Well, what if all of your kids are the stripes and the solids are just other individuals? Okay, let's take it to the next level. But they're intermixed right there, right? It's called school, it's called workplace, it's called, family friend who wants to break up the family. You understand what I'm saying? So, so one's like, okay, stripes are mine, solids are yours, right? Okay, cool. Now you're putting them into the safety zone, right? Pocket, side pocket right there. Side pocket right there. Side pocket right there. Whew. Hopefully you don't miss one, right? Oh, God! Now the evildoer. Now it's my chance. Right? I don't think evildoer talks like that. I think he talks kind of nefariously, like a regular gentleman. Hey. My turn? Watch this. I could break up every one of them. Boom, 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 boom. I win. Except your kids were not the stripes, your kids were the solids. And the stripes were the distractions in the family. Try to put them all in, not to hit the kids. Try to dodge the kids. Agree or disagree? It's an analogy of life. So if you got kids, put them first. Keep them safe. But be careful of somebody that wants to do you harm. Back to gentlemen. Should he have walked away and found love in another direction? I say yes. Move on. There's a woman for you. There wasn't that woman. Let her lesson be her lesson for life. She has to learn. That's her lesson. She let you go. For what? Financial prosperity? Oh, she's well off financially. 100% true. But why is she checking up on him when is she in love with her man? Sometimes money doesn't equate love. Back to blurring of lines. Love, money. Let's just use the term love. Some people love money. I get it. You make a lot, you have a lot. I totally get it. Abundance, you need money to come into your life. I love what money does for either me, the family, and or other people around me. I 100% love what the money does to help people around me. And of course, myself. But there's a proverb that says, the love of money is the root of all injurious things. But I think that scripture kind of has a different meaning nowadays to people. Because people have been taught exactly to love money and love what it does for you. And I would think, technically, if you love what money does to bring all you everything, that's a different type of injurious thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think in Bible times, way back when, love for money is the root of all sort of injurious things, because there was one, either you were a king or you were a poor person, right? Agree or disagree? King and or servant. Oh yeah, they had servants back then, right? The Jews were servants, were they not? Slaves, right? You got paid by your master, right? Slaves go way back to the Bible, okay? Egyptians were the slave masters of the Jewish nation. Jews know what it's like to be slaves. True or untrue? True. Do they still know what it's like? I don't know. I'm not Jewish. But I'll venture to say none have been sold to an auction, right? True or untrue? True. Okay. The majority here living on this earth forgot what it was like to be owned by another human being and or nation. True or untrue? True. Thank God, right? Thank you, God, for putting people on this earth that saved us from that prior to us living on this earth. Thank God. Seriously, thank you. Pretty sure that was divine intervention at some point because men didn't want to do that. They fought it. Civil War, remember that? A human basic need. And some say, well, it talks about slavery in the Bible. Well, yeah, but put it into perspective. Remember when God delivered his people from Pharaoh and the Egyptians? Who built those big pyramids? Was it Pharaoh? No, cheap labor. Cheap labor. Cheap labor. The Jewish nation. True. Moses said, set my people free. He was speaking for God. Remember that? Don't know if you saw the Charlton Heston one, but they're really good one, by the way. That's probably hands down the best one I've ever seen. Never going to be another one like it. Will there be? No? They just don't have the budget anymore? Coronavirus? Got it. Whatever. My point is this. Moses, right? Set my people free. Charlton Heston, fantastic actor, carried that line out 100%. Nobody knows. Technically, it was Aaron that served as the mouthpiece, not Moses, because Moses had an impediment of his speech. Charlton Heston, I love the guy, 100%. But technically, the Ten Commandments kind of fudged there. Because in the Bible, when you research it, Moses, when he was called to duty, saw the fiery flames on the bush, but he says, send somebody else. It got so bad, God says, fine, take Moses. And it got bad, because Moses just kind of trying to beg off. I'm sorry. But why did he choose Moses? Well, Moses had a history with Pharaoh. You get where I'm going with that? He had a history. So when Pharaoh saw him coming, oh, it's you, half-brother. Huh, not even half-brother. You have those lowly, despised, despicable people that are still our slaves. What do you want? Back to the Charlton Heston. Love that guy, right? What's his name? I can't remember, but Pharaoh, right? Great actor, fantastic. He played Pharaoh to the T, and I believe that's the way Pharaoh was. Haughty. Sat like this. Why should I let you? They're not your people, they're my people. Why should I let these people go? Ha! I think he said, like in real life. But it wasn't Moses, not Charlton Heston character. It was the Aaron character that actually was the mouthpiece, by the way. He was the one, basically, I don't know if Moses whispered in his ear, or I don't know if God spoke to both of them in their head and they uttered the words. I don't really know. Wasn't there, obviously. But Aaron, who happened to be his brother, was the one to go toe-to-toe, technically, with Pharaoh. But Moses had the staff. Do you remember that? He had the staff. Well, that staff, he took everywhere. Remember the story? Pharaoh threw down, well, he didn't. Hey, guys, let's show them who's boss. Our gods are more powerful than your one God. We believe in a multiple amount of gods, all amazing at what they do. So amazing, watch this. And remember, the two threw down their staffs, and they turned into snakes. Again, for Charlton Heston times, this was a pretty amazing film. If you haven't seen it, Ten Commandments, really good. Turned into snakes, right? And Moses was told, throw down your rod. Or staff, whatever you want to call it. Pretty big staff, remember? Taller than him. Threw it down. Became a snake itself. The other two tried to take on the one. Boom! And I don't think they showed that in the Charlton Heston one. They could totally do it really cool. They need to revamp that like they did George Lucas film Star Wars, right? Revamp it, put in the digital effects. That'd be cool. And then see the big one swallow up the other two. So technically, in that moment, Moses, who professed faith in one God, which they actually quoted in that one, they said it once, it was interesting. The word Jehovah was in there, and people were like, who, what? That's not God's name. It was Yahweh. And some people couldn't even pronounce it, true. But anyway, in the Bible, the Israelite nation worshipped a one God, technically. They didn't know about Jesus way back when, so you can't blame them for like being, who are you? That's not the one, I don't think, right? But back to the Jewish nation. The Jewish nation was relieved of duty on that very first moment of a miracle. True or true? took more than one plague? Oh. It took a total of 10. Which I always took issue with that because I was like, he told them there would be 10 plagues. I'm like, why would you not just... And I think God already knew Pharaoh, like his heart. Oh man, he's not going to let you go after the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one, the seventh one. He will want to let you go at the eighth one, but he's just stubborn. So stubborn. I'm going to have to go all the way to the 10th one. I think God at some point says, look, if he lets your people go earlier than the last one, I think the last one was the last one God wanted to do, which we all know killed every firstborn of the nation. I think God gave him a lot of chances. That's a lot of chances. 9 to be exact. It's a pretty prophetic things that happened. I mean, there were like, just like frogs coming out of nowhere, locusts coming out of nowhere. There was just so much, right? I can't even remember all 10, right? Gnat flies coming at them. Oh my God, where are those coming from? It's terrible, right? It's dark as the sky. The sky darkened for one whole full week, was it? Or day? Or it must have been a long time. Pitch black. What the? That's not normal. Can't even see. Oh, just hit my nose. Right? I don't think they were as severe as the last one when his own firstborn died. You remember that? It's been a while, right? 10 Commandments. But here's my point in sharing that. What does one have to do with the other story I just talked about? It's this. Moses was at one time, I think, very haughty. He was born an Egyptian. Egyptians, or so he thought, he was 100% 100 pure blood. Did he bleed blue? Did he bleed red? Did he bleed white? Did he bleed all three? Oh, just red. Got it. He's kind of like the Americans of today. I'm American, you're not. True or true? That's how some people view immigrants. Go back to your country, they say. I was born here. What are you talking about? Well, then your parents were born here. Send them back and then take you back with them. Okay, just agree to disagree. Back to Moses. Moses was raised an Egyptian. That's all he knew. I'm an Egyptian. Pretty cool. I got the pick of the litter here. The ladies love me. Life is good. And then he saw the Jewish people breaking their back, sweating, asking for water, whipping. To him, that's common knowledge. I think even though they don't show that, I think even he actually, did they show that in the movie? I don't remember, I gotta watch it. The Charlton Heston character was probably like, lowly peasant, until he found out his heritage. Back to Ancestry DNA. Talked about that earlier, right? On the show. Ancestry DNA has the ability to show you your place and or places of origin, right? Pretty cool, right? You didn't realize this was like a lineage, this was the second one, this is a third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. You had no idea how far back it goes, and then people start seeing that and they go, what? I got what in my blood? That's not true. That can't be true. Let's do it again. What? I'm related to those people. I say go back to their country. In fact, well, I don't know them, so don't matter, don't care. You understand what I'm saying? I think we all should take free DNA tests, to be honest. We'll be like, you and me are cousins? Crap, can't date you. Right? No? Still, I know, some communities still do that. Whatever. First cousin, second cousin. I remember one, that's another story for another day. Okay, so in life, we're all interconnected. Unless you're an animal with another gene code, or unless you're an alien from another planet, we're all the human race. True. People say, don't call it's racial. We're the human race. Just take out all the ethnicities, because there's so many different mixed cultures anyway. Some people are a conglomerate of completely different backgrounds. What does that make them? Human at the end of the day. Didn't make them a gorilla. Didn't make them a chimpanzee. Agree, disagree? In life, you have people that are judging others based, sometimes not even their skin color. They're where they came from. Sad. Very sad. But back to Moses. What do you think happened when Moses all of a sudden was told, you know what mom did? Your mother put you in a little basket to save your life. An Egyptian woman took you and raised you as her own. Aaron is your brother. I am your sister. That was Miriam, by the way. You're of our family. And here's how I can prove it to you. Suddenly, his eyes were open. Kind of like an ancestry DNA, right? I am what? And what? And what? And what? And what? I think he had to unlearn all the behaviors and or things he grew up with back to Ramses, the Pharaoh. They were like brothers, were they not? Some have different translations. Some did a cartoon, Prince of Egypt. Go check it out. Pretty cool. I liked it. Whatever the truth was, they obviously knew each other, right? So when God selected Moses, he didn't select Aaron so much because he needed a personal person that Pharaoh knew personally, so he just would chop off his head. I think Pharaoh, in the movie too, kind of like, oh, it's you, Moses. What do you want? Right? Because Moses did some bad, killed an Egyptian to save a slave of the day, right? That's how Egyptians viewed slaves. Jewish nation, true. Look it up. It's you. What do you want? You've aged. Don't look really good. Not as good as I. Just throwing that out there. Yul Brynner, that's his name, Yul Brynner. Yul Brynner played the awesome Pharaoh. Just no one like Yul Brynner. I don't think there'll ever be another one that plays him like him. Let my people go, Moses said. I will not let your people go. What God is this? I do not know of this God. To which I think Pharaoh thought, I got his slaves in my midst. Come on. Like, he can't be that powerful. Look at these snakes. And then he saw that. He goes, great parlor tricks. So what? Well, now I'm going to tell you. I know, Charlton's voice, I can't do it justice. There will be 10 plagues. The 10 plagues will come upon Egypt if you do not let God's people go. Pharaoh, unamused. Then let them come. And the rest is history, right? Took the 10th one to finally let him go. I always wondered why Pharaoh didn't just cut off with Moses' head right there and then, or Aaron's or anybody else. He had some level of respect for him. Not enough, because boy, oh boy, his firstborn, done. Fine, go. Get out of here. And then what happened next? He changed his mind, right? Changing his mind. Did the right thing and then changed his mind. Remind you of anybody? They change their mind all the time? In life, just in life, in general. People that you know. They say one thing, they do another. The Pharaoh, or king of the day of Egypt, changed his mind and said, go after them. Sent his whole war chariots. Whoom, right? And as they say, the rest is history, right? We all know what happened. Boom, Red Sea. They got past. Red Sea came, killed all the soldiers. True or untrue? By the Jewish nation of the day and Christianity, it's 100% fact. The details might be a little sketchy, like all the details. And some things might be lost in the translation. I get that. But did the Egyptian nation want to let go of the Israelites, which were cheap labor because they were slaves? You know who should identify more with Black Lives Matter than any other nation ever? The current Jewish nation. I don't know if they forgot, but they need to step up along with each and every person, because I think if we go far back enough in our timeline, we're all going to see. You know, I met somebody who actually did their timeline. They realized they were, although Christian, 100% Jewish. Or maybe it was 50%, or maybe a 10%. I don't remember. It was enough for them to say, I'm going to change my whole religion. I'm going to go from Christianity to Jewish overnight. I was like, you know, the kind of, I mean, okay, whatever. It's up to you, whatever. I'm not going to impose what I think upon you. But my point is this. If all of a sudden you found you were Jewish and you're a Christian, would you suddenly do the same thing? I'm a part of the Jewish nation. They're the approved one by God. That's the one of the Bible. Oh my God, I'm an Egyptian. Well, here's the thing. You know the Egyptians, there were a certain amount that followed the Israelites out because they were like, your God is way more powerful than that guy. We saw what he did. He did nothing to save us. There were a lot of Egyptians in the midst of the Israelite camp. True. Talk about mixing of cultures, right? True. In the Charlton Heston one, there was one, kind of, you remember he's kind of like, blah, 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 but I'll follow you guys, blah, 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 right? You know, it's kind of the guy that caused a lot of trouble down the line. Or was he? I don't remember. It's been a while. Go watch it, The Ten Commandments. Really good movie. Charlton Heston. Great job. Yul Brynner. 100%. So here's what I'm going to leave with you. I know I kind of went on a long wind, but here's why. Yesterday, I was thinking about this, and I said, you know what? People really need to be reminded of this. We're all related. We really are. Hopefully we're not first cousins or brother, sister, divided. Whoops. Didn't know you were my sister. What? We were split by birth? Right? Some people find each other. They find them out of like nowhere. The twin. I don't know if you've seen those stories. The twin finds another twin. You're my what? And the adults, right? Lost time, but they start from there or don't start at all because they have completely different like backgrounds. I know what that's like. I didn't meet my sister, technically my half-sister, until I was like, I wanted to meet her at 15, but I didn't get to see her until I was like 29, by the way. Because I wanted to meet her. I think she was 6 at the time. And my father, thinking he knew it all, my biological father, that is, nope. You have to get to know me first before I let you get to know the others. To which later in life, honestly, she kind of didn't like me around. Although I'm the eldest, she didn't really like me around. And I can't blame her, but I kind of feel like, you know, the whole situation, you know, I got another brother. He actually really does resemble me. It's weird. I look at him, I'm like, you look like a mirror image of me. Which I always got told people, hey, I saw you in town. I'm like, that wasn't me. And I didn't realize till way later, that's him. I'm like, but I don't have a relationship with them. It's sad, but true. And sometimes that's how families go, right? Miriam, back to Miriam. Miriam had a really heated moment, so much so she was cast with leprosy. Do you remember that? All good, all great, until towards the end, because she felt she was the oldest. She felt she knew what God really wanted, and suddenly God went, boop, done, leprosy. My hand! He humbles the haughty. But does he still humble the haughty? I say, let time take place. I think right now, so many people are suffering. So many people are hurting emotionally. Some physically, in the head. Some people are getting shot, maimed, hurt, killed, murdered, stabbed, left for dead. 100%. Do I think it's right? Doesn't matter what I think. What do you think? So I think I'm going to leave on this high note or good note, okay? I feel somebody said a lot of rhetoric in this world, and sometimes it's not just one, it's a group of people, back to the Egyptians, had a lot of rhetoric. Why? I think the Egyptians, not all, because obviously there were some that followed the Israelite nation out of their beautiful empire. But look where that's at now. Desolate, right? And pyramids, uninhabitable. Great monuments, 100%. Great tourist attraction. Do you want to live there? No. I mean, okay, there's other areas in Egypt, still pretty cool, but it's not what it once was, right? It was an epicenter of amazing technology, amazing. They were so ahead of the curve scientifically. They really were. If you don't do the research, the stuff that they were able to come up with, amazing, super ahead. But I think, I'm just going to throw this out there, they were eventually laid as a desolate nation. Now, I know. Egyptians now of today would say, we're still around, people. Don't talk to us like that. It's not our fault they did that to that nation. Hello? Back to our country. How many people say that? It's not our fault. Our ancestors did that to you. I'm sorry. I don't. But by your actions and or your rhetoric and or your hate, there's the word, hate. That common denominator in each one of these situations is hate against love. Back to something I asked earlier, right? Love versus haughty. Love is the good guy. Haughty is the bad guy. But can the bad guy turn to be the loving guy? Yes, I've seen it happen all the time. Can the loving guy turn to be the haughty guy based on a set of circumstances and or people that he used to love 100%, and all of a sudden, they turn their back on him, snub him, whatever. You have people like that in your life? Are you loving? Are you kind? Are you all good? You have people, literally? I hope not. But if it's happened to you, don't become bitter in life. Don't become so bitter in life. You men in their room, I'm talking to you. Don't get so bitter in life that you treat every single woman the way you think the bad guy is going to treat them. That way, maybe they'll be attracted to you. I know because I used to do that. I used to be such a nice guy, and then I realized being the nice guy doesn't always get you places. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to turn it up a couple notches. Read some books that said, women really respond to this? Really? All right, let me do it. And then I realized they react. You don't believe me? Check out certain shows that tell you how to get with the ladies, right? They tell you can't be kind with the ladies. They're so conditioned to want the other guy. So you got to be that guy. But that only gets you so far. That gets you in the door. It doesn't get you forever with that woman. 100%. Something I said yesterday. If you think of only yourself and you don't know how to switch it back into I love you, but what if that lady, back to the gentleman, that lady goes back to the ex, and the ex had money, and you don't? Is that really what? Well, life is difficult. I got to go where the money's at. Come on. Really? I think we're past that. Or are we? I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure a lot of women go, that's dumb. Make your own money somehow, some way. Right? Don't go back to that guy. The guy who cheated on you. The guy who left you for dead, in essence. Don't go with that guy. And I say left you for dead. Your emotional heart didn't care. I heard this multiple times has happened. And you probably know of situations that have happened. It's not an uncommon one. And if you don't know of them, you just haven't asked enough friends that are married or were married going through a divorce. You know, divorce is at an all-time high. I saw a broadcast by a lady. Let me bring up her name really quick because I really appreciated her broadcast. And it actually made me think of a couple situations that I've been hearing as of late. She's on Facebook, she's on Twitter, she's everywhere. Let me pull up her name. Let me go to my messages because I did send her a message. Let's see. And her name, I think a lot of you need to go check her out. And I don't know why my thing's not, let's see. Her name is Dr., and she's on a different station than ours, KFI. Okay, Dr., hold on. How do I sort this? Sort by latest, maybe? And she was talking about relationships, okay? So as I'm pulling this up, she was talking about relationships, and she was talking particularly about the fact that so many people right now are going through mediation and are trying, if they go through mediation, they actually, like a few of them actually worked it out. Which I say, if you got a family, go through mediation, okay? Go through somebody who can help you both with the idea that they want to help you stay together, okay? Not break up. That should never be the first thing if you've got a loving household. Now, I see if there's abuse or if there's neglect or there's just 100% downtroddenness of 100% everybody because, the guy is bad or the lady's bad or whoever's, claiming they want to get out of that situation. But if it's a situation that can be changed, then change the situation and learn that, hey, we're all going through a really bad time. There she is, Dr. Wendy Walsh. Dr. Wendy Walsh is her name. Go check her out. She's doing Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives, and everything. You can ask her questions, relationship issues. So here's what I say. Look, during this time of the end, I see a lot of people right here, right now, which are frustrated beyond compare. One or both have no finances. Do you remember the movie with Will Smith? It had happy in it, right? The happy, I can't remember. You know the movie, right? Happy. He was not happy in the movie. In the end, he was happy. But there was a moment where he just tried to provide for his family. Minimum. He'd take on any job he could, try to do sales, always get stuck with the wrong product. Do you remember that? What was that name called? I should look it up. I know you probably already named it. You're probably naming it right now. You're like, come on, get it right. It's Will Smith. It was happiness, the pursuit of happiness. We're all pursuing being happy in a pandemic. But I love that movie. You know why? It's sad but true. The lady of his life, the mother of their child, left him. I just can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. We're not making the money. You're not making the money. I'm working full time. And what are you doing? You're chasing a dream. You're chasing a dream. He's like, but I'm trying to get it together. I could do this. She left him one night. Gone. 100%. Gone. Out the door. Gone. Remember, did she take the kid? I don't remember. I think she took the kid. And then she wanted to keep the kid away from him. Remember that? If you haven't seen it, great movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. It's a feel-good movie. I won't tell you the end, but it gets great at the end. But the little kid, he took care of him. He tried to. They were living on the streets. Do you remember that? And this is a true, real-life story. This was back, I believe, the actual life was about Father Chris Gardner. And Chris Gardner, I want to say back in the maybe late 80s, I don't remember the time period it was in. I'm not sure if that was another recession period. But they hit hard times. Will Smith's character, Chris Gardner, hit hard times. And did his wife stick around in order to see both of them get it together eventually? No. To which I say, if you guys are falling in hard times, don't seek the easy way out and say, I'm going to go somewhere else where they get me money. I mean, if you got to take a job, I get that. But, don't leave the family in disarray during coronavirus. You're stronger together than apart. True. But back to the gentleman. Will Smith's character ends up doing the right thing in the end. He works multiple jobs just to put food on the table just for him and his child. And at one point, he kind of gets down on his child. His child, with the basketball, right? Shooting the basketball. I want to be an NBA star when I grow up. And he kind of put him down because he was down in life. But then he corrected himself. It was a great speech. I don't know the speech. Maybe I should look it up. I'll let you watch it. It's a great show. Pursuit of Happiness. In the speech, don't let anybody tell you who you will be. Don't let me, don't let no one tell you who they think you should be because of the stuff in their life. I think that was the essence of what he says. Don't let anybody put you down. Don't let anybody kick you out, literally, of town and or your business and or your house. I posted a couple times about people losing their houses because of I'm just going to call them evil landlords. Who would take and kick a person out for non-payment during this pandemic? I get it. You got food, bills to pay. I get it. Stuff rolls downhill, not uphill, right? Well, what goes around comes around, guaranteed. You might be that person. You know, I believe in this thing called you get what you give. You know what I'm talking about? Some people call it karma. It's technically same thing. What goes around comes around, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes people say the term karma is a bleep, right? I'm not on the radio, I can talk. Karma's a bitch. It's a saying, it goes around all the time. Karma's a bitch. Karma is a bitch. But you kind of brought it on yourself. That's the part that people leave out, right? If you're the receiving end of it, you don't want it to. Some people call it bad luck. I've had a string of bad luck, right? Some people say I've had good luck. I've had a string of good luck, right? I don't care what you believe. It's all kind of the same thing. What you put out is what you're going to get back. I've said this to multiple people because I saw the path they were taking, and I says, you got to be careful. The path you're taking is going to come back around. It's going to rear its ugly head at some point. Well, believe me, I've been on the receiving end of it multiple times. And I go, well, I kind of deserve that. That's what I do. And I say a little prayer. God, I'm so sorry. Apologize. I was obviously dumb. I see how that came back full circle. And sometimes, things comes back full circle in the right way. And I'm like, ooh, I hate to be you. Just going to go out on a limb there. We have a invisible realm, I think, that says, well, we see how that handled. Let's see what happens when we kick that little switch over, and oh, there you are. Done. Now let's see how you take that. Oh, you hate it. You didn't like it. Right? I think that happens in life. I'm not saying all the time. I'm just saying some of the time, maybe all the time. Maybe we're unaware of it. Maybe we're unaware of what happens in another person's life. But if you're still staying with them on Facebook and or Twitter or Instagram, and you see them and they kind of like check you out, and you check them out, and then you see something happen in their life, they come out full, and you're like, wow, yeah, I mean, can you blame me? I mean, you know, it wasn't me that did it. It was hoping you be a better person the next time, right? I think that happens in life. I know that it happens in my life all the time. I can name multiple times where I'm like, it wasn't me. And this is why I say, I might be, I'll cut you at the knees, but here's what I really say. I may say that, but you know what? I just distance you away. I'll call out your stuff, and I will distance myself away from you just enough. And I say, don't go too hard on them. It's happened every single time I've ever been mistreated in life. I think to the majority of you that have, and you know what I'm talking about. You're like, oh, yeah, I remember that actually happened to somebody. Oh, my God. Da, da, da. I remember one time. This was sad. This was a sad story. But the man's wife left him because he was fighting cancer. Or maybe it was a host of other things. But she just couldn't look at him the same way anymore. I just can't, I just can't walk down on him. I think it was 3 years later, he checked up on her, his now ex. He's happy in life with his own new wife. I don't know the situation. I don't know if they had kids together. I didn't know the details, but he says, yeah, it's the weirdest thing. She's fighting her life for cancer. And that's what it was. She called him up and apologized. Sorry, I am fighting cancer now. I shouldn't have said those things to you. Well, he did the right thing, and it's neither here nor there. He healed from the cancer. She ended up getting cancer as well. I think a lot of people forget there's a thing called what goes around comes around. Do unto others as you would hope they would do to you. Karma is a bitch. I think karma's also good too, by the way. Karma's not just a bitch. Karma's a sweet angel saying, Doot, 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 doot. Yep, there it is. You did so much good, you're going to get all that good in return, eventually. You just got to be patient. Don't give up on life. And then it suddenly comes, and everybody's like, oh, wow, that person's so lucky in life. That's crazy. They're so successful now. Yeah, but you didn't see all the failures, all the people telling them they couldn't do it, all the people that said, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it. Back to the Will Smith movie with Chris Gardner. Chris Gardner, no, 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 no. And then somebody, a CEO says, let's see what you got. Gave him, hands down, probably the best opportunity. And what did he do? Did he just like, oh, well, whatever, you know? No, he worked diligently because there's only one out of so many brokers. Oh, gave out the end. Being a broker is very difficult. He was good with math, really good with math. Not good at sales with a device that was really difficult to sell. Actually, he was really good with sales because he was really good, gifted in the mouth. But, you know, but he happened to be also good at math. So they finally found the job, but it was difficult to get in. In fact, it was an unpaid job, an internship, to be able to become a financial broker. You're like, who works for free? Even he did. He's like, how much does this pay? It's an internship for 6 months. But I need money. Okay. That was Will Smith's character. Very humble, very kind, very meek, very teachable, very loving. So he took another job, and he was working 2 jobs. Working one, full-time, internship for free, and working another second job, just to provide for the little kid in his place. Then he got kicked out. Then he had to live on the streets. Then he had to live in a homeless shelter. Then he had to live as a homeless person. He had to fight for his room just to put up for his young little child and him, all the while trying to make work happen. And he fixed things. He'd do little trinkets. He never had like just one job. He had different technology ideas. Eventually, I'm pretty sure he did. I don't know. But my point is this. A lot of you out there are trying to just make ends meet. And some of the families out there can be so vindictive and so cruel. Don't let their opinions force you to leave those you know love you and will do anything for you forever and a day. Don't be that person. Don't be haughty. Don't let the haughtiness of the world get you to be like, success is only determined by the amount of money you make, gentlemen. Which is unfortunately what I wanted to tell the gentleman. He left his heart with the woman that valued money more than a kind soul. Loving soul. A gentleman who now today still does things for other people even though he doesn't even get paid much. Gets worked to the bone. I know this gentleman. And I think there's a lot of gentlemen out there. Recently I posted something and people go, where are all they at? This was a lady. I could tell. She's bitter in life. Can't blame her. There's a lot out there. Agree to disagree? Women sometimes think they can make the bad boy, bad guy, bad person, evil person. Oh, don't make an evil person try to be good. But don't get with an evil person, okay? You can be with, you can't change somebody 100%. You can influence them to want to do good. You could draw them into good. I know so many people that are faith Christian. And I know this because there was one that I interviewed recently. I looked at the analytics, and 80% that looked at the interview of 500,000 views were 80% women. 20% were male. And I was like, I've always theorized there were more women in this faith than men, but I never knew it until I saw the data. And I was like, but I remember a lot of these women would go out, get a man, and eventually bring them back. And now they want to believe. And I think a lot of women do that. You women are so wonderful and patient and loving and kind. You exude this. That you draw most men to want to do good. And if you do that, don't leave them high and dry. But there's a lot of men that'll say, you know what? my life kind of sucks before I knew you. You're all loving. You're all kind. You're all amazing. What am I doing with my life? I get that. I get that. There's situations that happens. I see it day in and day out. There's some situations that you get slapped in the face and you go, hey, slap me on the other face. That felt terrible, but I wanted to get, oh, you socked me in the eye. Oh my God, you socked me in the eye. You know what? Punch me in the gut. There you go. Oh, I had a baby. Now the baby's, you know what? I love you still. Don't be that person, okay? That's what I'm going to leave you with. Make the right decisions with the right people, the loving people. If they're loving in your life, more loving, and maybe they don't got all the finances, all rich, all amazing, all 100%. You never know if you're going to leave them right before they hit it big. All right, I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. Make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, keep the comments coming, even after. I do love you. No matter what life throws at you, remember, you're never alone. Bye-bye, everyone.